Hi everyone, today's presentation will be on the nesting behavior across various taxa in the Actinopterygii class. So a quick overview on nest building behavior in fish. Nests are crucial for providing shelter, raising and protecting brood, and attracting mates via sexual selection. Fish nests can be defined by BESA as remodeled habitats that increase fitness and reproductive success. Nest building behavior varies greatly from species to species. However, males are generally the predominant sex where this behavior is observed, and is also a very costly behavior. So our organism of interest for this presentation will be the three-spined stickleback, or also known as the Gasterosteus oculatus, and it exhibits a very peculiar nest-building behavior. So why does the stickleback do that? So calling back to our definition of what nest building is, in the beginning, male three-spined sticklebacks build nests for courtship purposes and to receive eggs for fertilization. So it conforms very closely to that definition. And it acts as a secondary sex characteristic, or at least it's been defined in that way. And the general structure of the behavior is that the stickleback will burrow small holes in the sediment, collecting algae, substrate, and debris to be glued and molded to form a protective foundation over their little burrow. The glue, also known as spigin, is a biosynthetic glycoprotein formed in the kidneys and is secreted from the male's cloaca, and they will use this glue to hold the structure together. The foundation is then burrowed into by the fish, as seen in the video, creating a tunnel that both males and hopefully multiple females may pass through to fertilize, to lay and fertilize eggs. And males are the sole protectors of these nests. So genes and environment play a role in the way that nest building is a seasonal behavior observed during mating season carried out by sexually mature stickleback males. These dramatic changes that we kind of see in behavior and physiology, as we'll explore later on, are photoperiod dependent. So as longer days start to present themselves during the summer, this environmental change will induce these behaviors. Increased presence of females will also induce and ramp up nest building accommodation and completion to entice potential mates. And this behavior induced by these multivariable environmental factors also ramp up expression of spigin genes to synthesize the glue needed to hold their nest together. A study by Rushbrook in 2010 also found that males will adapt their nest to flow variation, so differences in current, whether that be slow or fast currents in different brooks or streams or estuaries, implying that sticklebacks are capable of gene plasticity in response to changing environment. So if we look to the picture on the right, we can see on the right side that a male stickleback brain, and on the left we can see a female stickleback brain. And this is actually the greatest recorded instance of sexual dimorphism for vertebrate brains, meaning that the brain on the right is, as we can see, is significantly larger. And this has been thought to be attributed to the complex neural basis behind these very intricate nesting and mating behaviors. And in fact, the brain is roughly 23% larger on average than their female counterparts. So nesting behavior is largely controlled by the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, and release of gonadotropin releasing hormone stimulates a cascade effect that releases estradiol, testosterone, and ketotestosterone, which are different androgens, sex hormones. So release of these hormones in response to certain environmental cues, as we explored earlier, can stimulate this reproductive behavior. And spigin synthesis in kidneys is also increased by stimulation of the HPG axis to prepare for nest building accommodation and behavior. So a study by Brown in 1985 found that castration during courtship completely inhibits nest gluing with spigin and nest building in general. However, treatment again with testosterone reinvigorates nest building behavior. So emphasizing that testosterone is a main driver in the behavior, like in many animals. And a later study in 2009 done by Sabir also found that nesting behavior is also dependent on the specific isoform of testosterone, 11-ketotestosterone, which is the main androgen produced in teleost fish, such as pufferfish, cyclades, and sticklebacks. Certain hormonal peptides, such as arginine, vasopressin, and prolactin, have also been thought to have some control in nesting behavior pathways, despite little being known on the specific hormonal pathways that regulate the behavior. And these neuropeptides are also found in most teleosts, so this suggests that many of the hormones controlling nest building behaviors is shared in the majority of these these types of fish. So there are many costs to this behavior. However, there are also some benefits. Better nests are more likely to attract a mate, and attracting a mate means being able to fertilize eggs and being able to pass on your genes to the next generation, and that's a good thing. Inherent ability to build good and decorative nests is a desirable trait that females want. So this trait can also be heritable, and this is most likely to ensure the success of future offspring. However, the costs are mostly energetic. There's a lot of energy being put in to maintain high levels of testosterone to fend off and challenge other competing males. More energy is invested into ensuring the survival of germinated eggs than can be maintained, and most of the time, most cases, stickleback males will die protecting and maintaining these nests as soon as the eggs have been fertilized. So generally, sticklebacks are found in northern climates, usually in slow currents of brackish estuaries and freshwater creeks and tributaries, and it's generally adaptive in many different areas, such as that we described earlier in faster or slower flowing currents, because of the gene plasticity that they are capable of, as we saw in Rushbrook's study in 2010. And it's generally adaptive in areas rich in silty substrate and algae, because these can provide the raw materials to build the nest. Where it would be non-adaptive is strong oceanic currents and barren areas. Barren areas would be unideal, as they don't have a lot of resources to build these nests. So comparing and contrasting other taxa, we'll take a quick look at the white-spotted pufferfish building a nest. You can see these very distinctive geometric forms, very organized nest. And then here we have the Calyptra cichlid, which collects multiple shells and forms these very elaborate and huge nests. So comparing and contrasting these organisms, the white-spotted pufferfish spread throughout the Indian Ocean and tropical Pacific waters. And as we saw in the video, the nests are characterized by geometric and decorative patterns. And the overall ability to maintain the appearance of the nest, despite the strong currents of the ocean, indicates to potential mates that the male has strong genes. And this tenacity and perseverance is a desirable trait that can hopefully be passed on to future offspring, allowing them to be successful and carrying on the genes. And the Calyptra cichlid, it's endemic to the Lake Tanganyika in East Africa. And as we saw, the nests are characterized by mound formation of diverse shells. And this ability to collect and present diverse shells in a large display allows for various females to find their niche and mate with the female. So overall, both of these behaviors provide means for finding mates and successfully passing on their genes to the next generation. So how might this behavior have evolved? So in the most recent common ancestor between Sarcopterygii, which are lobefin fish, and Actinopterygii, which are rayfin fish, which are the greater majority of fish that we know today as modern fish, we can see in the most recent common ancestor they built these very rudimentary bowl nests, and the function was very basic as well. It mainly just served as refuge. But as we go further down the phylogenetic tree and we get these branches, we see that these nest functions and nest types start to diversify, and we can see our organisms of interest over here have adapted and adopted a lot of these different types and functions. So from conjecture, nests may have been rudimentary shelters that increasingly gained species-specific and shared function throughout millennia, increasing the survival and fitness of offspring and allowing for parents to successfully pass on their genes to following generations. So as this behavior led to successful reproduction, it conventionally became more complex as did its function in the process of sexual selection. So overall, we can learn that these organisms are indicative of how environment can affect the evolutionary adaptations needed to maintain nest-building behavior. Genes, hormones, and environment play an important role in dictating physiology and regulating nest-building behavior. Different taxa are highly adapted to their respective environments and use it to their advantage. So we saw this great diversity between these different types of fish and how they were able to use their environments to achieve that goal of enticing a female to mate. Nest building is a vital behavioral adaptation that increases the likelihood of survival and mate attraction across all these taxa. And common ancestry and phylogenetic analysis explains many similar motivations for nest building behavior. Here are my references, and thank you very much.